having a problem with it. Just one. You want me to take it? No, because I'm having a problem.
No, but practice a shot. Get it down and then take.
Hello everybody, welcome to a very special edition of Videoland Express Sci-Fi Sci-Fi, and I'm very honored to have a very special guest, Mark Hamill. Welcome to the show, Mark.
Thanks, Frank.
And I'd like to know how you get involved with Wing Commander 4, or the actual series altogether.
Well, I do a lot of voiceovers, and Joker was the most prominent one for Batman, and I did one interactive CD-ROM where you didn't see me. It was computer-generated characters. Then they said they wanted me to meet Chris Roberts, who created Wing Commander, this whole universe, and he was going to do a live-action film. I mean, it intrigued me. I'd never been involved with anything like that before, where the audience controls my character and you virtually ask the audience to become a part of the cast, part screenwriter, part director. I mean, it's just a novel concept, and it's been, successful beyond anyone's wildest dreams, I think. And Wing Commander 4 right now is at the very top of the charts over Myst and Lucasfilm's Rebel Assault, I must say.
Okay. What would be the future of Wing Commander? You think be more involved, more serious?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we sort of take it a day at a time. The Origin and Electronic Arts people are very cagey individuals. They play their cards very close to the vest, and I really don't know. I've heard that Wing Commander 5 is called Maniac's Mission, which would be Tom Wilson, who plays Maniac, and that I'm being sort of, shunted aside.
Oh, okay. And one last question. Will there ever be a book about the life and times of Mark Hamill, since you have such a long history already?
Well, that's it. I just want to wait until I can add a few more chapters, I have to tell you, the Wing Commander people are fantastic. I kid around with them, but they've been really wonderful to me, and I'm always open to new ideas. I didn't think they could justify a Wing 4 because Wing 3 had such closure. It was the end of the war and all that, but the storyline is fantastic. I mean, it really is much more along the lines of a political thriller with certain factions trying to rekindle the war to keep the military in power. It's not just a rehash of what happened in 3. So, I mean, they're very clever, and I have to thank De Palma and Borst, our two screenwriters who did such a fantastic job. And I should mention, because, people watching your show will want to check out a book I have coming out called The Black Pearl in September. It's a 5-part series written with my partner Eric Johnson from Dark Horse. And hopefully it will be a film. It's based on a screenplay I wrote, and I would love to direct it rather than be in it.
Okay, well, you heard it here first.
You heard it here first. It's an exclusive.
Okay, any last words for the audience, and for your fans?
Just keep going to the movies, keep reading comic books, and keep your imaginations wide open.
Okay, hold on. We're going to try to show you some excerpt from Wing Commander 4. Check this out. And thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Frank.
Okay, check this out.
That's it. Hello, everybody. I'm Frank, or Frankie, or Frankie's son.
Not Mark.
And what you just saw was an interview I did all the way back from 1994 when he's promoting Wing Commander. That tape was in the box, and I was looking for something else. I couldn't find that tape for so many years. I was looking for something else in the box, actually a box of music tapes, which I'll talk about in a second. And I finally found that tape. I managed to transfer it. Considering the tape was over like 20 years, I took it to, was it DBI Transfer Studios, located up by Grand Central, and they were nice enough to kind of preserve the tape, and they made a dub of it and put it on DVD, and I managed to post that on YouTube. If you notice quickly, we have a YouTube site. Videoland Express has a YouTube site. In case, because I've been posting this on Google and Twitter and Facebook about the live show at 5 o'clock. If you missed it, well, don't worry about it. Like this show will be taped. It'll be transferred to a DVD, and then it'll be uploaded to Saturday and Sunday. It takes a while to upload it to YouTube. And by Monday, you can see this show. And you can see all the past shows that we've done. We're celebrating 25 years on the air. This summer, believe it or not. This is the show that I started actually 25 years ago on this very date. believe it or not, 25 years ago. Now, I just want to correct something. Somebody said, well, didn't you say you were celebrating 25 years like a couple of seasons ago? Yes, I've been on longer than that, but doing a live show. The first 2 or 3 years was actually pre-tape, where, I would just film around the city, do interviews and stuff like that, like the one you saw. And 25 years ago, in my third season, I actually started going live on the air. Okay, and we started at Saturday 6 p.m. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago we switched over to 5 p.m. So here we are, and I'm glad that Mark is here with me celebrating these 25 years. And with that tape, like I said, I was doing a lot of interviews. Everybody knows about the past Comic-Con. Harrison Ford showed up. I like to affectionately call him Grandpa Grumpy. He never shows up to these things. They had the Comic-Con. They show the cast. They show one of those creatures that are actually animated puppetry that they really use because everything's CG. So J.J. Abrams is going to the old puppetry. Reminds me of Jim Henson with Dark Crystal and Labyrinth. I don't know if you remember those films where everything was puppetry and stuff. Anyway, and then they have the new cast, and then they introduce Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford. And by coincidence, I finally found that interview. Two things about that interview. He said kind of the people at Wing Commander were kind of cagey, and what happened was he was promised number 5. He didn't get number 5. Now, what was up with that the Black Pearl? And it was a comic book that was released. I think like sort of like a graphic novel, and he made it into a screenplay, and he wanted to direct it. And it's funny because people nowadays, the director of J-World, I forget his name, Colin something, and he did one movie, Safety Not Guaranteed. It was a low independent picture about time travel. Spielberg loved it. He said, guess what? You're going to do the big dinosaur movie. Flash forward to the summer. Jurassic World is going to be the 3rd biggest picture in history. I think in like another 2 weeks because Japan is going to open up, and that's going to, it only needs like 40 more million to beat the Avengers worldwide. It's going to finish up in China. It's going to open in Japan. Boom. It's going to be the 3rd biggest picture. And you know what they gave him for, congratulations? Your 3rd movie is going to be Star Wars. The final trilogy. So actually, that's picture number 9, believe it or not. And poor Mark Hamill has been trying to get that project off for like lots of years, and they didn't trust him as a director, and he's done directing before for Sci-Fi Channel. But that's a funny industry that they are. This guy does a B movie. He gets J-World, and he's gonna do the final film number 9 for Star Wars trilogy. He's gonna close it up. Not too bad for 3 films, huh? But that's the way the business goes. Okay, now we got some reviews here. Okay, Diane, to put my reading glasses. Mark is actually the one with the reviews. The only one I saw was the Death of Superman, the one with Nicolas Cage, directed by Tim Burton. I'm going to review that in a second, but I got to catch a breather here, folks. But anyway, real quick, I'll finish with the announcements. Talk Show Radio is going to premiere next Saturday. I postponed that because I was trying to catch up with the whole Block Talk Radio, which is now on schedule every week. I usually do that between Wednesday and Thursday every week. And then the week we don't go on, Talk Show Radio will take this show's place. It'll be a live show. You can call in. The chat room will be open, and that show will premiere next Saturday. And then what happened to the music show? Well, if you go to SoundCloud, you go to our website. There's a link to SoundCloud, excuse me. And I already put up two new themes. Actually, what you're hearing on the opening of the show, that's the original theme I wrote 20 years ago. I found the cassette of that. That's what I was looking for. I was looking for a box of cassettes. I found the theme. I said, I'm going to upload that. And that's the theme that I originally opened up the show with 25 years ago. So I put that theme back in. And by coincidence, I found the Mark Hamill tape. So as far as the music goes, there's a bunch of little snippets of original music that I'm writing on SoundCloud. Don't worry about it. The next show, those 2 things are going to go into play. You notice I've been expanding every show in the past couple of weeks. I show you our Godzilla community site. I show you a Blog Talk Radio. I show you a website, and I show you my blog. Okay. The next show, I'm going to show you SoundCloud, and yes, I am in Reverb Nation. Somebody found me over there. So we're expanding on all that stuff. So with that being said, we mentioned Comic-Con, and now the reviews. I'm going to switch to the box office later so I can catch my breath. And you have a couple of reviews?
Yes.
Go for it.
All right. I'm going to break right into the reviewing segment of our show. So what I have to say, there he goes, Ant-Man, the man. What can I say about this movie? It was great.
You liked it?
I loved it.
I didn't get a chance to catch up yet.
That was beautiful. I can't say, even when I saw the promos, I said to myself, this is great because not only are you learning something about Ant-Man, one of the, I guess, Avengers, you could say, but it sort of takes it to, you see the molecular level of his fighting technique. And because when I was a kid growing up and I would read Ant-Man, I would say to myself, this seems kind of ridiculous that a guy is going to have that much power and be able to hurt people being the size of an ant. You know, because you're just saying to yourself, oh, he hits me, I'm just going to bing him right off. That's the end of Ant-Man.
Right.
But all of a sudden they start trying to explain the science of Ant-Man. It was great. Michael Douglas was in it. Michael Douglas, Paul Rudd, and I forget who else was in it. I guess a couple of other cameos you have popping in and out of the movie. I guess you have one person, I forgot what his name was. He's a rapper, T.I.
Okay.
T.I. shows up in it.
Does one of the Avengers show up?
Well, yes. They have a cameo from one of the Avengers. They have, what do they call him, Falcon?
The Falcon,
The
yes.
Falcon. He shows up, and I don't want to give too many spoilers.
Can't get rid of spoilers.
If I start doing spoilers, it's going to start happening now. If you haven't seen it, you might want to cover your ears. I don't know. So, Ant-Man, for some reason or other, they throw in a MacGuffin. They always throw in MacGuffins in movies, sort of like the guy trying to chase around his tail for any reason to just put in that segment into the movie. So then the MacGuffin in this movie, for some reason or another, Michael Douglas needs a certain apparatus that the Starks have in their possession, because Michael Douglas, they CGI him and made him look younger in the beginning, because this is supposedly after World War II. They get together. You have Agent Carter in it. You have Tony Stark's father in it. You have Michael Douglas when he was younger. And also then you have someone else who becomes the villain of it.
So it actually does connect within the Avengers universe.
Yes, they make some kind of connection. It's kind of weird, the connection.
Okay.
You know, and it's sort of like, oh, I left something with Tony Stark's father. You got to go retrieve it. He left in Tony Stark's warehouse. They go over there with a bunch of ants to try to pick it up. But all of a sudden, it's the Avengers complex.
Oh,
For some reason, now he has to break into the Avengers complex and grab this piece of doohickey that later in the movie, you don't hear anything about it. It's sort of like they just broke in there just so he could have a fight with one of the Avengers and say, oh, you see, Falcon isn't a useless character. You see, he does have some use. So when you see him in a movie again, you'll say, oh, yeah, the Falcon.
Right.
And no one really cares about the Falcon. So for some reason or other, they have a big fight scene. Yeah, big character. Oh, so we couldn't get Thor. No. Who's going to be in Iron Man? No. The Hulk? No. Who the hell? Black Widow? No. Captain America? No. The Falcon?
You sound disappointed. You sound more disappointed in that than anything.
Yeah, it was. It's sort of like they threw a tertiary character that they didn't really write that much about. I mean, if anything, I would have thought, hey, so we're going to get War Machine, right? War Machine's going to fight with Ant-Man. No, it's Falcon.
Well, Falcon is going to have a much bigger role in Captain America Civil War.
All right.
They're advancing.
I know, they're trying to build him up because...
So they're building him up in this movie.
Yeah, they're building him up in this movie because right now he's not a famous celebrity, right?
Right.
No one really knows who this guy is, so he'll be willing to do whatever.
Right.
But the other characters, like maybe Chris Evans, he'll probably say, no, I don't want to do this. Probably the guy who had playing the Hulk, he probably thought he was too big for this. So they said, okay, this is the only guy who would probably, he's like the intern. He'll probably do anything.
And nobody can afford Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, no one can afford Robert Downey Jr. We can't afford to give him like $500 million to be in this fight scene. People probably really would want to see one of the main characters, like Hulk fighting Iron Man. They probably would want to see that. No, it's Ant-Man, who's great, the movie's great, fighting Falcon.
I mean,
he's gonna fight the intern.
Well, I can see that because
they couldn't even get Black Widow.
No, but you know what? Those characters are too big and they will overshadow Ant-Man. So I can see why they did that.
Still,
but you would recommend the film?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend the film. But it still would have been like Hulk Hogan fighting Andre the Giant. You know that if anyone understands that reference,
right?
Anyone still understands that reference? Anyone watches wrestling anymore? I don't know. I heard it's still big, but it was great.
We old school.
Old school. You know, when people used to watch television.
Yeah.
I know people don't watch TV anymore, but it was great. I would give it definite recommendations. If you have to see it, go see it. It'll crack you up. I mean, the fight scenes with him and the major villain, which is, I guess he's sort of like a wasp character or a hornet character. I forget what he is, but it doesn't really matter. But the fight scenes are great. The CGI,
How about the special effects when he gets
special
shrunken?
effects.
When
He shrinks, gets bigger, runs, punches people out. It's amazing.
Okay, because I remember a couple old films I just want to go over. Then when I heard this concept, Ant-Man, of course, I reminded me the 1950s classic in black and white, The Incredible Shrinking Man. Have you ever seen the poster? That is a guy fighting a giant spider with a safety pin. That's that. Spielberg did a picture called Inner Space with Dennis Quaid, which was a variation of somebody getting shrunken in like a little submarine and getting injected into the human body. That picture really sucked. Dennis Quaid, Martin Short.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Spielberg. And that was based on a great movie called Fantastic Voyage back in 1967 that actually got nominated and won for Best Special Effects, Best Oscar that year, 1967. As a matter of fact,
Yeah, it was great. I saw that.
and James Cameron was supposed to do a remake along with Planet of the Apes and a whole bunch of other ones. He said, Spider-Man with the Flash, he was supposed to do that. He said, screw Hollywood, and he went to make Avatar, and of course that went, quadrillion dollars.
Yeah, James Cameron is amazing. I think that whatever he touches almost turns to gold.
That's why he's going to get back the Terminator franchise. But before we go into that, Fantastic Voyage, if you don't see it, this was the babe of the day back in 1967, 1 million years BC. We both agreed J. World, Jurassic World rocks. And if you want to see, this was done by special effects with Ray Harryhausen, the master. And this is, if you love dinosaur movies, a lot of people don't know this exists. 1 million years BC. Raquel Welch, she almost became a Bond girl. That's how hot she was back in the day. And she did the movie called Fantastic Voyage, released by 20th Century Fox. You can get that, I believe, on Netflix. Definitely recommend that. They have a team. They shrink him down. The guy has brain cancer or something like that, a brain tumor. They shrink down about 4 or 5 centimeters in a little mini sub, and it goes all the way through the arm, through the lungs, and you see the inside of the body. That's a movie that should be remade. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you saw the last season of Archer, this is season 5, you saw season 6, the last season, they starring Christian Slater, and the whole team, Archer and the whole team, they get shrunken into a little submarine. It was a 2-part episode. It was a takeoff on the movie Fantastic Voyage. If you've not seen Fantastic Voyage, Archer, I know, is playing in Netflix and Hulu. Check out the last 2 episodes, and they do a whole takeoff goof on that 2-part episode on the movie Fantastic Voyage, so you get an idea. I just love the idea of somebody getting shrunken like that, especially with the special effects. I didn't get a chance to see it because I went to see something else, but I just wanted to give that little trivia. So you recommend Ant-Man?
Yeah, it was very character driven. This was a pure character driven movie with special effects, and that's the problem with some of these what do you call that, superhero films. That the first movie, like from what I heard, Iron Man, they had no script because they wasted most of their time doing the CGI, and most of the CGI was the main focus of the movie. But since they said like a master like Robert Downey Jr., who's just an improviser and he could throw lines in there, it almost seemed like the whole thing was scripted. But they say a lot of that was Robert Downey Jr. improvising the movie.
Yeah, he's great on improv.
He was great. He made the movie. He should have gotten a writing credit. But that's what I'm saying. Most of these movies who tell stories don't write a script. They don't write lines. They don't give it to the actors. But this movie, it did. That's why I think it's a great movie.
They did that with Captain America. Captain America was very character-driven. When you had a classic actor like Robert Redford playing with the villain, and he never plays the villain. If you know the history of Robert Redford. That's the problem with Avengers 2. Avengers 2 was so much driven on it being a setup for the next set of Avengers. That was like the main prerogative. You know, all of a sudden there's a love story with Black Widow and Hulk. They didn't get into it. What's up with the Vision? All of a sudden he comes up. And they concentrated too much on Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, a character I hated in the movie.
They were terrible. And those accents were the worst. those accents. They went in those accents. Like, you're lucky you come up with a fake country with a fake dialogue, because you could fake these accents and people like trying to think to themselves, what accent is this? You know, if you want to hire, please, Hollywood, if you want to hire a person with an accent, hire a person with an accent. Don't hire an American to put on a terrible accent, because everybody could see right through them.
I mean, yeah, she was going from American to Boston to Russian, back to Boston. I think a New York slang got snuck in there. That was
awful.
horrible. In the meantime, a lot of people wonder why are so many British and Australian actors get hired.
Because they're great.
Yeah, first of
They're
all,
wonderful. They know how to act.
they all get trained on stage. Number
Yes.
one, you know, as soon as they get out of the diaper, boom, they're doing
Yeah,
Shakespeare on stage. Exactly.
They're probably doing Shakespeare in elementary school.
Yeah, they know Macbeth by 5 years old, for crying
Oh
out
my
loud,
God.
you know? And then on top of that, not only theater training, and they do a lot of film work and TV work with them. A lot of those guys do soap operas over there, believe it or not.
They're so good that they grab these guys, they become musicians, they come over here, they blow the doors out of almost all the musicians in this country.
Yeah,
the Beatles, was it Led Zeppelin?
The Led Zeppelin, Rolling Stones.
What's the Who?
The Who, Elton John.
Jesus,
Okay.
I'm telling you.
And as far as the acting goes, they know accents. One of the top guys is Michael Caine. Michael Caine knows how to do.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he did what's it? Princess of New England, Queens of I forget the movie where he does a New England accent. He did a Boston accent. He knows how to do a Southern California accent.
He's incredible.
Yeah, he does all these
even have
different
clips.
dialects. He even does a Western accent, for crying out
If
loud.
you want to see Michael Douglas teaching acting, you can go to YouTube, and there's some clips from a video, from a DVD or videotape he made a long time ago, teaching you how to act.
Okay, we got. I find out we only got 5-6 minutes left.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Now box office, real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, please, I got that other review. Go ahead, one more thing.
No, I was just saying Trainwreck. Trainwreck with Amy Schumer is great.
Oh, that's
I think
right.
it's going to do really well.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't think much of it. Well, I mean, I don't
Well, of
know.
course not.
Something reminds me too much of
Right.
Melissa McCarthy.
Right. No, but she's better. I think that.
Better, really?
Yeah, heck yeah. She's actually can do stand-up. She actually does roast, and she's brilliant. And I know for our generation, our crowd, the male crowd, like the guys who made like Predator, The Expendables, you know, that tough crowd, they probably won't appreciate her comedy whatsoever.
Okay,
But
that's why.
she becomes a voice of a generation of single women. So they'll love her. If you're into
crowd is
that
out
single
there.
women and you'll love her, she's trying to do brilliant in the box office.
Also, let's not forget. Got to give her credit because she is a writer.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I
gotta
respect.
respect
Male, male or female, we respect actors who can do Shakespeare, and we respect male or female. If you're a writer, got to give it to them.
Yes.
Simple as that. So I just didn't. Maybe it's just the previews. I don't think it
If
was
you
that
like
funny.
Amy
But
Schumer, you're gonna love the movie.
okay.
All right, let's go to box office.
Box office real quick, and then we'll have a final review of Death of Superman and Nicolas Cage. Okay, box office. Basically, what is happening is, I did mention that Variety Magazine officially stated that Furious 7 is the number 3 movie, but if you go to Box Office Mojo, because apparently Disney is telling them, no. The Avengers is number 3, Furious 7 is number 4.
Wow.
Okay, so there's a little juggling there. It doesn't matter, because what's going to happen is J-World, right now, it's finishing his last 2 weeks in China, and it still has to be released in Japan next week, which is guaranteed 100 million. Right now, it's only 40 million away to be the 3rd biggest picture ever, behind Avatar and Titanic. So it looks like J-Will's got it. It's got to finish up China, got to open up in Japan, and between those two countries, it only needs 40 million.
You're gonna do it.
It's, definitely going to do it. So in 2 weeks, we're going to be celebrating that, because I still haven't done my my best dinosaur list.
Yeah, people love dinosaurs.
Like I said, I mentioned this film, okay? But anyway, now, and the main reason I said a little, they're fooling around with the numbers a little bit, because Disney does not want to admit that Avengers is going to go down. Once Star Wars comes out, Star Wars is going to be the 3rd biggest picture. Then it's going to be J-World. Then it's going to be Furious 7, and then it's going to be Avengers. Ever since Disney's trying to look sharp, because ever since Tomorrowland bombed at the box office, they lost money in that. They don't want to admit they're losing the top 5 spot. This happened with Superman returns back in the late 1990s. I think 1999. Whenever the Superman Returns by Bryan Singer, it was at 196 million for 4 weeks. All of a sudden, it said, "Oh wow, we found some lost receipts. How can you lose receipts for 4 weeks?" And all of a sudden, oh, now the movie actually made over 200 million, and that's because they had to answer to the stockbrokers. That's what's driving all these.
It's all about Wall Street.
Yeah, about numbers and money and stuff like that.
Yep.
They have to save face because they got to listen to stockholders. Yep. I'll be talking more about that subject on the next Blog Talk radio show this coming Wednesday. Okay. We wanted to talk about some time travel Terminator, but Terminator is bombing. Okay, you said maybe hopefully DVD, Blu-ray sales.
Yeah, DVD, Blu-ray sales always help these movies out.
Well, talk about Superman. We'll talk more about that because we'll find out the final results of Terminator worldwide in about 2 weeks. The one picture, I saw a documentary, The Death of Superman, What Happened. That's the official title documentary. That's the one where they have scenes of Nicolas Cage in the Superman outfit. That's the one where Kevin Smith wrote the script and they threw his script out because Tim Burton took over and John Peters wanted his friggin' giant spider. We've been mentioning this for over 20 years.
Oh my God,
okay?
He's nuts.
There's a book that came out about Superman. I forget the title. I'll be mentioning that on the Blog Talk Radio. I'll be going more into this movie. This is like the best documentary of the year. It has a lot of pictures, photos, drawings, storyboards, sketches, behind the scenes. They actually talk about some of the artists they hired to draw. They actually had these little puppet creatures. Because Brainiac had this giant skull of a ship. The ship looked like a skull. Had a lot of creatures in it. Okay, I'll be talking more on my Black Talk Radio show. Okay, that's coming up Wednesday. The Death of Superman. I'm gonna open up the show with that and explain more about the Mark Hamill video. Okay, I think we're running out of time. I'm Frankie.
And I'm Mark.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks for tuning in, everybody.